everyone. Hey everyone, it's Chaos World here with Adriana once again. So this is a video about Adriana's end, quote unquote end. But like I mentioned in a past video, how I had come up with like how each of their backstories is how this whole thing starts, and they end up on the island, which is like the pivotal point of the story where they all like make relationships with each other. That's where they all meet, and that's where they all find things out about the island and each other and become sort of like develop more personality as you grow with different experiences. So that's one important part, but I did know how my dragon boy, who I have named Eon, when he's gonna be here in about I think a month and a half or so. So I've been really thinking about where the story is gonna go and everything. And that's when I've been working on like trying to get them together more and character wise even. So I even made these little bracelets. If you can see, there's a little heart here, and don't mind Adriana's hair, but that's the bracelet. And I don't know if I don't know if I mentioned it before, but the island has a high CO2 carbon dioxide ratio to oxygen. So pretty much you go on the island and you'll die very quickly because there's not very much oxygen. And those bracelets, I made one for each character, and they don't all look the same, and because they're unique to each character. And what it pretty much does is acts as an oxygen tank for them, so they can survive on the island, which is I finally made those. I didn't have them before. I had the idea, but I just never made it before. So they each have one, and then I bring everybody else. Like when I have a video about each character, I'll show you what their bracelet looks like. But that was that, and also I've got some supplies that I'll be doing face ups for at least, and body blushing and stuff like that. For some scars or anything that they need, that I can finally do that for them in their character. So back to what I was saying to get back on track about Adriana's end is Adriana has this unquenchable hunger for knowledge, and she's always searching for knowledge. She can't figure out why she wants to know so much. She's just always after anything, and she's so curious all the time, and it gets her into so much trouble. But she doesn't understand why. So she does have this little journal that I haven't gotten a little prop thing to go with her yet, but she does have this little journal, and I've written down some of the things that she would write. She had it like has a few, and she started them from when she was young. And when she was young, it was more like a diary, but when she got older and went into that military orphanage, it became more of like just a quick note thing she'd write in it. Like, for example, she saw something interesting, she'd write it down and be like, oh, I saw this at this time at this place, thought it was interesting, will come back again type thing that she'd put. And she's really determined to see everything on the island, discover everything, and make a map on it. She doesn't know why. That's what she really wants to do. So that is also like connected into her backstory, what happens to her at the end, because there are these spirits that she sees, because she can see spirits, and at first she doesn't really recognize that they're spirits. She goes out in the day with Tristan, and they're exploring together, and they see these little people, and these are just the concept of the people, of what they look like. You know those voodoo doll keychains? This is what they kind of look like. that. I have two of them. But the spirits kind of look like this in shape and stature and stuff. Not exactly like this, but you get the point. So she sees those and she is like, "Oh, look, do you see those?" To Tristan, and Tristan's like, "I don't see anything." So she thinks it's just her, and she keeps going. And another time when she's by herself, she sees them again, and her curiosity, of course, she tries to speak with them. So they're like, "Oh, yes, we are, like, we live here on this island, and we've lived here for generations after generation, and that's what we do. We just live around, we take care of things." And she thinks they're people, but they don't have a name, so she names them the Tut Tut people. So she talks to them, and they tell her about some things, like how they have a little village and stuff. They don't take her there, but they tell her about different things and tell her how, like, a different lore about the island. And they even tell her something that ties into the end as well, that I'll probably share in the second video because I don't want this to be too long. But they tell her that the island is alive, and I'll tell you the story that they told her but later on. But yeah, they tell her that the island's alive and it has a heart and it has a body, pretty much. Like, the island part is the body, and inside it there is a heart. There's like a rib cage, is what they say, quote unquote rib cage, and there's all these trials and tribulations and traps that are around the heart. And they say, like, that it's there on the island. So Adriana, of course, is like, "I need to find it." So she's been freaking out trying to find that. And also, she then runs into another spirit, and his name is Kira. And he's a special spirit because he's a guardian. And I probably mentioned way back in one of my videos that guardians only follow and protect humans, and they usually only protect one human for their lifespan. So she's curious about him, and he really likes to talk. Guardians are not supposed to talk to humans at all, but he likes to talk a lot. And when he notices that she can see him, he jumps at that opportunity and starts talking with her. So she asks him if he's Camille's guardian, and he says no. If he's Tristan's guardian, no. Naya's guardian, no. My guardian, no. So she's a bit confused, because he does tell her that they follow a person. He explains, like, how they work, and she's just like, "Well, if you're not any of us, and I know that the dragon and Maybell, they're not humans, so you can't be following them. Who are you following? Is there someone else on this island?" type thing. But he doesn't answer. So he pretty much tells her, like, in different accounts, like encounters, he tells her some things about the afterlife, and some information about the world that isn't really supposed to be shared, and that is really bad. So his superiors find out, and they punish both him and Adriana. So since he, like, the first punishment that they have, the for him, since he loves to talk, they pretty much use this special, like, rope thing or bandage or whatever, and it seals his mouth so he can't speak for, I think it lasts for about a month or so. And for Adriana, they do something, like, to her eyes, so she doesn't see the world as she usually sees it. And the result of this, her eyes turn yellow and they kind of turn caddish. So she doesn't want anyone to find out about this. So she wraps her eyes up and she tells everyone that she, like, ran into something and it went to her eyes. And she asked the monkey people about it, and they said that, "Oh, your eyes will return to normal in a while." So she tells everyone not to worry, and she doesn't really want anyone to see that. All this is mostly happening after our main character, well, he's not really the main character, but after our dragon boy, like, goes out into the world to stop this chaos. And I don't know what lie he really tells the humans to get them to help him yet, but it's all one happening when he's gone, because the rest of the people on the island, don't really, they're just pretty much waiting to see what happens. So that is some of the stuff that starts to happen to Adriana, and that is just one punishment. And also the superiors threaten that if her and Kira keep talking in general, and especially talking about things they're not supposed to be talking about, there will be more punishments and they'll be permanent. So I'll talk more about that in the next video because this one's kind of long. Alright, see you then.